The phone vibrated while I was still standing in the hospital corridor, staring at my daughter's blood on my hands. Unknown number. I answered. "Let's be practical," the man said, voice smooth, practiced. "My son has immunity. I own the judge. Drop it." I looked through the glass at my daughter, unconscious, machines breathing for her. I replied quietly, "You have 10 minutes to turn him in." He laughed, a real laugh, the kind men laugh when they believe the world bends on command. That was minute 0. I didn't always despise men like him. Once I worked for them, protected them, built systems that kept their empires clean on the surface and vicious underneath. I learned early that power doesn't shout, it documents, delays, and distracts. Years ago, the CEO and I had shared drinks at conferences. He called me a reliable mind. I called him sir. We smiled for cameras. He donated to charities. I audited foundations. We both knew how to look righteous. But that was before my world narrowed to a hospital bed and a shattered child. When the call ended, I didn't scream. I didn't threaten. I sat down. That's when the planning began. The accident wasn't an accident. I knew that within an hour. The security camera near the intersection had been down for maintenance. The police report already softened the language. Unclear fault. High-profile family. I'd seen that phrasing before. It's the sound of justice being slowly strangled. A nurse told me, softly, that a man in a suit had already been asking questions about my family, offering help, offering silence. That was the moment grief hardened into intent. Minute 2, I sent one message. Minute 3, I opened a file I hadn't touched in years, a retirement trust, old money, quiet money, structured to look harmless, structured to wait. Minute 4, I called a friend who owed me his career. He didn't ask why, he just said, "Give me 5. Minute 5, I watched the CEO's son on a private traffic feed, already halfway to the border, escorted by men who thought loyalty could outrun consequences. Minute 6, I authorized the trust. That's when the world shifted. People misunderstand power. They think it lives in offices and titles. It doesn't. It lives in leverage you don't advertise, in signatures made years before anyone knew they'd matter. The retirement trust wasn't for retirement, it was for patience. Through shell holdings and voting rights, it owned pieces of companies that owned other companies, including his. 76%. He'd never noticed. Men like him never read past page 3. Minute 7. His general counsel tried to reach me. Missed call. Minute 8. The stock halted. Irregular activity. Minute 9. My phone rang again. This time the voice was shaking. "Who the hell are you?" the lawyer demanded. "We're ready to accept all of your terms. Just stop what you started." I checked my watch. "Too late," I said. By Monday morning, the board convened an emergency meeting. They were pale, confused, furious. One question echoed around polished wood and glass walls. Who just fired the person who owned 76% of the shares? The CEO arrived late. For the first time in his life, he looked small. His phone kept buzzing. His confidence didn't. "You're outdated," he hissed when he finally saw me. "We're done here." I met his eyes, calm, empty. "Understood," I said. That was when the trust activated its voting rights. The fallout was surgical. The judge he owned recused himself by noon. Evidence surfaced. Videos, timestamps, messages, everything the police said didn't exist. Funny how clarity appears when the right funding dries up. His son was stopped at the border, not arrested, just delayed. Enough for cameras, enough for pressure, enough for reality to arrive. The CEO resigned for personal reasons. The board issued statements. Sponsors fled. Allies pretended they never known him, and the phone stopped ringing. I visited my daughter every day. I told her stories while she slept, about oceans, about strength, about how silence can be louder than violence. When she woke, weeks later, she asked me one question. Did he get away? I shook my head. That was all. People ask if I feel guilt, if revenge emptied me, if it was worth it. They don't understand. This wasn't revenge. Revenge is emotional, loud, messy. This was justice, executed by someone who knew the system better than the men abusing it. I didn't break laws. I used them. I didn't threaten lives. I exposed lies. I didn't raise my voice. I raised the stakes. The CEO thought immunity was something you bought once and kept forever. I knew better. Immunity expires the moment someone stops being afraid of you. Sometimes late at night, I replay the laugh on that phone call, the confidence, the arrogance, the certainty that he owned the world. 9 minutes later, he owned nothing that mattered. I don't smile about it. I don't brag. I don't confess out loud.